Good morning, friends. This is your old girl, Melanie Rose, here to share your daily aspects. Today is Sunday, October 10, 2021. The moon is in Sagittarius all day today. This is a good time to get in touch with nature, that is, our inner nature, or even perhaps the outdoor spaces around our home. The waxing crescent nature of this moon invites us to visualize a plan. And the moon in Sagittarius is likely to make us more honest with ourselves and more open to adventures of the emotional, intuitive, or domestic type. Honesty and adventure. Waxing crescent reminds us to be visualizing so that the intentions we set a few days ago can be put into plans so that those plans can be put into motion. So visualize what those intentions would look like once they are realized. The sun is still in Libra. Libra is the first sign of autumn, and because it brings in the new season, we call it a cardinal sign. Libra is one of 3 air element signs, but understand that there can be only one cardinal for each element. Libra suns are leaders, visionaries, and people who pursue balance, truth, and beauty. And when the sun is in Libra, we feel many of those same impulses regardless of our own signs. Whatever we start now in our social or work spheres has the breadth of value and abundance behind it, especially if it reflects the high value Libra places on balance. Let's take a look at these planets and aspects before we get into the interpretations. One planet you always have with you is the sun. That is your outer life, who you are in the world. And then the other planet you always have with you is the moon, which is your inner life, your emotional and intuitive self, and it also relates to your domestic sphere. Mercury, forever at this party, is our planet for thoughts and communication. As well as travel, and as well as all of that equipment, especially electronics that we use to express our thoughts and communications. Jupiter is here as well. This is our planet for growth and opportunity. Jupiter is the bringer of the abundance, positivity in our lives. We have Mars on board today. That's your personal sense of initiative. This is where your ambition comes in, your will to act. Mercury. Here's a Saturn. This is our planet of structures and the stewardship of those structures. And I see Chiron is coming up here. That is the wounded healer, or how to heal. Okay, those are the planets. Here are the aspects. We have retrograde, which we've talked about a lot. This is the planet's apparent motion backward across its regular track through the zodiac, causing changes and sometimes upheaval. This beautiful thing right here that we have a whole bunch of is a sextile. Sextile is cooperative energies. So when these planets are in sextile, they cooperate. That means they work together, which means they generate something. There's a square. And that represents the potential for challenges. Here's this D. This is for direct, which is the opposite of retrograde. Direct means that this planet has been in retrograde, and now it's moving. It's slowed its motion and turned around to move directly along its path in the correct direction. I've got one down here too. And we have a trine, which is very positive, even harmonious. Outcomes from actions made under a trine are often very positive outcomes. And that looks pretty simple. You know, we've got a short list of characters, an even shorter list of plays that they might make. So let's get into it. This ongoing Mercury retrograde reminder that I've had up here, it has become a brief list of the erstwhile retrograde planets that are stationing to go direct between today and October 18. Pluto went direct this Wednesday, and Saturn goes direct today. So now we're down to Jupiter, which is stationing to go direct next Sunday, and then Mercury will do the same thing on the very next day. So if we found ourselves going back and having to deal with some old problems or simply running into a lot of obstacles in our regular course of actions, hang in there. The waters become a little choppy as these planets change their courses, but once we get through this, we'll be seeing green lights. Go ahead and make that all green lights box on the horizon. As for today's aspects, I give these in Central Standard Time, as I am in Fayetteville, Arkansas, y'all. This first one starts at 11:49 a.m. and this is a moon sextile Mercury. So when the heart and home come into a positive and cooperative energetic aspect with the intellect, we find ourselves in the mood to talk. Even though Mercury is in retrograde, sharing our ideas and inspirations is likely to generate some positive growth, especially in the domestic sphere, albeit perhaps with some surprises in store. This aspect takes about 2 hours. Then at 2:12 p.m., the moon goes sextile with Mars. Now, Mars is the planet that represents action and initiative. And in this 2-hour aspect, the actions we make at home will be especially effective in setting the tone for our forward motion through the rest of the day. 2 hours. Acts at home. Create positive circumstances. Next at 1:45 p.m. Now, how did I get those out of order? I know exactly how I did. Next at 3:45 p.m. the sun goes sextile with the moon. Now, this is a one-day aspect, about 24 hours, that puts our outer life in creative accord with our inner life. We feel especially effective and at our best when these aspects of ourselves work together. So, especially effective. And since this is the sun, this is our outer life, it's really more of our social sphere, coming into accord with what's going on in our heart and home. Then at 9:17 p.m., the moon makes a square or a challenging aspect with Mercury. So the moon had a positive and creative aspect with Mercury late this morning, and now the same two planets are dancing together in a more challenging aspect. It's basically the same mood. We feel like chatting, sharing ideas and inspirations, and we may come up against some challenge though. Since Mercury is in retrograde as well, be prepared for the challenge to look like some miscommunication or technology fail. This aspect takes 2 hours. Miscommunication. Okay. And then also at the very same time at 9:17 p.m., Saturn turns direct. So Saturn has been retrograde since May. For a lot of us, this has felt like a heavy burden of restrictions or responsibilities in our lives. In the past few weeks, we may have chosen to lay some of those burdens down, or at least to put them on the back burner until we feel like we have more energy to give those things that sustain us. I encourage you to reflect on what kind of changes you've seen in your work or home life. As Saturn turns direct, we find ourselves in greater accord with the responsibilities we have chosen to maintain, perhaps even giving us greater clarity as to how our actions sustain us and our loved ones. And then at 11:39 p.m., a void of course moon runs sextile with Jupiter. The void of course moon is making its final aspect in the sign of Sagittarius. So this relatively free of influence heart and home finds itself in a good vibration with the planet of positive growth and good fortune. This is a late in the evening aspect, so pay attention to what generative, positive feelings might come up as we're getting to sleep or starting to dream. Coming up next week on Wednesday, Venus will make another very positive 4-day aspect with Saturn, inviting us to observe the foundations upon which our values are built. And then on Saturday, Venus will also make heavenly trine with Chiron, an opportunity to find healing in our most valued relationships. Additionally, next Sunday, Jupiter goes direct. Expect the unexpected when it comes to good fortune and great opportunities as this big planet turns its boat around to get back in the proper flow. And we will talk about these things and much more as they come up. That's it for today, friends. This has been your Daily Aspects, an astrological weather forecast for Sunday, October 10th, 2021. If you have questions or if you feel inspired to share an observation or an experience, I invite you to add to the comments below. Also, please like my video and subscribe to the Old Girl channel. I will leave this up for about 30 seconds so that you may look it over. And I'll see you all tomorrow for more Daily Aspects.